What's going on, everyone? The market strength that we saw today was pretty unprecedented. We're going to go over my thoughts for the rest of the week, what I think can end up happening next for the SPY, the IWM, the NASDAQ, the crypto markets. Once again, guys, thank you so much for all of your likes, your comments, your subscribes, your support, the love that you guys share and, show. It's really, really awesome. And I'm glad that I'm helping, and I'm glad that you guys enjoy the content. And yeah, man, I really, really appreciate it. So I just want to start off with that. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. All right, so first let's take a look at the SPY. So this would have been one of the easiest trades. So what you do is you take an uptrend and you wait for the daily candle to close below the uptrend level. And then usually a very, very high percentage chance the next day, even at the open, is going to be a very high chance that the short is going to continue to work. So if you had bought puts at the close, you'd be up at least like 20-30% at the open. And but unfortunately we didn't take that. So but what ended up happening for the rest of the day was completely out of the norm. So basically we broke an uptrend. We opened up very red on the SPY, but then for the rest of the day we basically just continued ripping up. We were choppy, but we had a very, very bullish day compared to where we opened. And this is really, really peculiar to me. So this is essentially what I think is going to end up happening. So what I'm doing right now is I have shorter dated calls and I'm scaling into longer dated puts. So what I'm doing is specifically what we did was during the last 30 minutes we got into BITO calls, and those ended up hitting 25%. We got BITO and Apple calls. So Apple only went up about 3%. I wasn't comfortable holding those overnight. But BITO was up 25%, and now I'm holding a small position of that overnight. And SPY, I'm holding on to August puts. So basically, so the upper trend line for tomorrow, right? This is daily chart. The portion of the trend line for tomorrow for us to retest would be 420.5. We're currently at 415. So the odds of us coming and retesting the upper trend line with this crazy momentum, not very high. Right? But if I am going to hold calls overnight, I want to hold Bitcoin options. The reason for that is because Bitcoin moves much faster and more with more velocity than the stock market, right? So if the SPY is up like 2%, Bitcoin is going to be up 5 or 6%. And those options that we have, if we bought into July SPY options and the SPY is only up 2%, right? And if Bitcoin, because the SPY is bullish, Bitcoin is up 5%, then those July Bitcoin options are going to be up. So for example, the SPY options would be up like 20%. On a 5% move, those same July Bitcoin options are going to be up around 40 to 50%. So you're getting a bigger bang for your buck. And you're basically you're basically getting a higher reward for the risk that you're putting in. So I think it's worth it. So yeah, essentially I am holding on to Bitcoin options overnight, shorter term. But the main thing is I am, bearish overall. These are just shorter term hedges. I do think that 420 to 430, somewhere there. I'm not sure what's going to end up happening. Of course, once we break above this high, the most recent high at 417.44 on the SPY, a lot of things can change. We can end up retesting 420, but the odds of us continuing tomorrow and then retesting this trend line, not that high. And then for us to continue even higher intraday and then remain above this trend line, reclaim the trend line, it's also very, very unlikely, because this would end up being 424 for Thursday, and that's very, very unlikely. I'm starting to ramble a little bit, but you see that there's basically if we continue moving up, right, it's going to be a much smaller chance that we do continue moving up. But if we do, then I would rather hold Bitcoin options, because you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. But at the same time, it makes sense, in my opinion, because I do believe that we're getting to the upper area of this range that I'm scaling into August puts. And of course, there's a stop loss for everything. So, I mean, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's not really a concern to me. But yeah, that's how I'm playing the market at the moment. Lots of things can happen. Bitcoin can collapse again. The SPY can collapse again. Everything, just continue, back at bearish as normal. But this momentum, the fact that we held 408, the fact that we retested, basically we went back to this exact support level, held that perfectly. This momentum is above zero. Very, very bullish. And we broke this uptrend, right? This is very, very crazy stuff, guys. We broke the uptrend, we held the support, and we ended up closing green. That almost never happens. Like, usually what should be happening, even during very, very bullish conditions, usually what should be happening is we should have had a red close today. And then from here, then maybe we have another, like a green day from here, and then we bounce. But today there was a very, very high likelihood that today should have been red based off of how we closed yesterday. And the fact that that didn't happen is pretty insane. So that's why I am, there's a chance that we can continue going on higher based off of today's price action and close, which was obscene, So there's that for the SPY. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, same concept. What are we going to, like the trend line for tomorrow is going to be at 316.5. What are we going to hit 316.5? No, probably not tomorrow. It's not a high chance. But if we do, we're going to be holding on to some Bitcoin options, because if the stock market ends up breaking above the prior high and, retesting these levels for some reason, Bitcoin is going to go crazy, in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I mean, it makes it's a very, we're trading within a range, right? So unless one portion of the range gets broken, we'll get a better understanding of what's going on. But range trading, you need a lot of patience. And during this time specifically, it's very, very important not to overtrade, because the same concepts and the same trading strategies that you had when there was momentum do not apply here. So if you're entering, on breaks of support or resistance during choppy price action like we had for the past few days, for a few weeks now, those same trading strategies don't apply if you try to buy in breaks of, support and resistance after the first hour. Usually it's just a really stupid choppy price action. You end up losing money, and then you're down for the day. You end up getting down on yourself. You're like, oh my God, I'm red on the day. I have to make it back up. And then because you have that, oh my God, I need to make it back up feeling, then you end up making stupider decisions. The market ends up being more choppy, and then you end up having a really big red day. And then that trickles into the next day. And then the next day, oh my God, I have to make up from yesterday. So then it just becomes a stupid, annoying cycle. So just take this as experience. It's not that serious. So it's good that, if you lost some money recently because of the chop, take that as a learning lesson, to learn from your mistakes, not to do it again. Everyone loses money trading stocks at first, right? So this is your success tax, basically. And if you want to be successful, you have to pay some success tax. You have to learn from your mistakes. Not that serious. It's all right. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's a very slim chance that we continue up. Overall, I think that we can continue down, right? But I mean, this strength is unprecedented. Very, very simply, without continuing on too much, there's that for the overall market. Let's take a look at the IWM real quick first. The IWM has been killing it. Yeah, the IWM is just doing really, really well and is killing it. If this continues, then the SPY is going to continue showing strength. And yeah, man, this is pretty insane. The IWM already broke above its highs compared to where the SPY and the NASDAQ were. The IWM broke above, which is absolutely insane. It's almost trading back. It's trading back in May 4th levels. So where the SPY was, right, it's trading basically at the equivalent of the SPY at around like 425, which is pretty insane, which is basically showing that the IWM is leading and there's a lot of strength. So let's see if that strength can continue to translate into the SPY, which would then translate into the NASDAQ, right? So there's that for the stock market. Let's take a look at the crypto market. All right, first of all, this is Bitcoin. Look at this wick on the daily chart. We wicked all the way down to 29,200 and we bounced intraday back to basically yesterday's close, which is absolutely insane. When we see a wick like this on the minute chart, so say for example, you know, like we fall, we have a huge wick to the downside and then we reclaim back, the next 2 to 3 candles are usually very bullish. So I'm not saying that, you know, we're going to start seeing like the next 2 to 3 candles on Bitcoin very, very bullish, but this is a really, really, really bullish reversal. As ugly as this wick looks, there's a very high likelihood that we come and retest this 32,300 level and then above. So because of Bitcoin's bullishness, because of the sheer buying power that we saw today, there was no follow through on any put positions over intraday at all. Every time we broke support, the buyer stepped in and we just shot up. So there's multiple reasons to be bullish in the short term, but overall it makes sense to start scaling into puts for longer term. And because this is what longer term bears wanted. If you were a bear at 380, 385, and you're like, crap, I want better prices on the shorts. Inflation is still here. Things are still getting worse in the macroeconomic environment. Equities are still not a profitable security to be involved with and stuff like that. There's other better investment opportunities. I want equities to go higher, so in the short term, so that I could get into better shorts. This is this opportunity. This is really this is it. So for the stock market, in my opinion, at all, so we're basically bouncing close to 420. From 420, from 385 to 415, 416, that's a really good percentage gain so far. If we hit to 420 to 430, that's when things get really, really tough to be bullish, because that's when, from a risk reward standpoint, it doesn't make sense. But with Bitcoin, we're still trading at the lows. So Bitcoin has a lot more risk reward to the upside compared to the stock market. And, there's a lot more percentage gain with Bitcoin compared to the stock market. So overall, if you want to be long something, in my opinion, you should be long Bitcoin options, or probably the IWM. But aside from that, there's my analysis for the overall market. I think in the short term we could be bullish, but overall I'm scaling into puts. Any of these short-term bullish positions are just hedges for my puts. And yeah, there's that. I think I did a decent job explaining. I hope I did. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if there's anything I could do better. If there's any stuff that you guys would want me to go over. If you guys want me to go over the VIX, the bonds, if you guys want me to go over the dollar, gold, silver, stuff like that. If there's enough people that want me to go over that stuff, I'll also do that. And yeah, man, just let me know. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.